Hello, I'm Carl Robinson and welcome to Oddballs, the show all about obscure sports here in the southwest London area. Behind me is, believe it or not, a hurling pitch, where later on today Jack Austin will be trying his hand at some hurling. But first, from the Irish sport to the Aussie sport, or what I might say is the Aussie Rules sport. To tell us more, it's Will Kelleher.
Everyone up, let's go then!
G'day folks, and welcome down to Sir Joseph Hood Memorial Playing Field, down here in the glorious Motspur Park. Now, one of the sports you may not imagine has too much going on here in southwest London is entering its 25th season. It has its origins 17,000 kilometres away, and to play it you've got to be tough, have endurance to run all afternoon, and you've got to play by the rules. Well, Aussie rules. It's Anzac Day today, and so we're here to watch Wimbledon Hawks versus Putney Magpies and some Antipodean action.
The AFL London League was formed in 1990 and comprises 8 teams, 4 of which are in southwest London. After the Wimbledon game, we spoke to an AFL legend.
Hi, I'm Anthony Koutafidis. I played Australian rules football for the Carlton Football Club for 16 years, 278 games, and won our last premiership back in 1995. I've come here to visit the Australian rules football here in London. I know there's quite a few of Aussies living here, and the game is starting to really pick up. And the game, it's the #1 game in Australia. It'd be really nice for it to expand internationally and get it well known. It's a very exciting game, and we love it back in Australia. I think with Aussie rules football, from marking and handballing and kicking, and those big marks we take in the tackles with no padding and all that, there's so many different attributes. Not only do we need the sprint, we need endurance as well, power. So it's a really fascinating game with so many players out on the field as well, 18 players on each team, and quite often in Melbourne, Australia, we're only a small country, we get over 90,000 people to a game. It's like a religion back in our country. There's a lot of things you need. I mean, speed now is part of the game, really. Speed and really good skills. The kicking skills is so important in our game now. Actually able to hit a target. So those things are really important. I think they should just come along and have a look. It's a friendly environment, it's community as well, so you get to meet other people, have a little bit of fun, you're staying fit as well, better than sitting on the couch and watching television, and learn another game. It's a fascinating game, as you can see. I mean, it's not really well known as a female game, but you can see a lot of females here playing the game as well. It's been male dominated for so long, but it's a great game for women too, and the expats from Australia absolutely love the game.
At training, Hawks coach Christian Van Reed taught Charlie 3 basic Aussie rules skills.
Skill number 1 will be the handball, so you can do it from either your left hand or your right hand, and it's basically leaving it from your opposing hand, having a close fist and punching it out just like that. Okay, so the second skill is kicking. So the most popular kick in the AFL game is the drop punt. So it starts with having the ball bottom to top. Okay, basically you want to. That's it. Perfect. Lovely. Another key aspect of the game is catching a mark. Okay, so a mark is called when one player kicks it to another player on the full, and there is a 15-metre gap in between. So one player will kick to, the other player catches it on the full without it touching the ground, and that's a good mark. And then that player gets a free kick.
So what's so great about the Wimbledon Hawks?
This is the best team in London. There's always something happening every weekend, even in the off-season. Everybody's so friendly. It's just a good way to spend a couple of weekends with your mates. Come down, have a kick. We welcome anybody, no matter what your skill level is. If you've never played the game before, come on down, we'll get you a game. Everybody's welcome.
So there you go. I hope you've enjoyed our insight into the world of Australian rules football. It really is a fantastic way to spend an afternoon. And so with summer around the corner, why not get yourself down to an AFL London game, crack open a tinny and enjoy. This is Will Kelleher signing off. Cheers.
Well, thanks very much for that, Will. Enjoy that Foster's, you've really earned it. Well, behind me here are some very familiar goalposts. It is, of course, the game of football, England's most prestigious and most well-known sport. But some sports don't even use goalposts. It's what the Americans call flat ball and what we here in the UK call ultimate frisbee. Will Burton, explain more.
I'm here on Clapham Common to get an insight into one of the country's fastest growing sports, ultimate frisbee. We've been invited by current national and European club champions Iceni to get a look behind the scenes and maybe even get involved. Ultimate frisbee, known as ultimate, is played by 15,000 people in the UK alone and across 50 countries worldwide. The aim of the sport is to move the disc from one end of the pitch to the other, catching it in the end zone to score a point. You cannot move with the disc and the sport is non-contact. Iceni have been the UK women's champions for the past 9 years running, and we caught up with their coach Paul Waite to learn the secret to their success.
It was set up as a London Geo team to sort of attract as many women in London to sort of regularly train together. So it's always been either hit on this part of the common or just the other part of the common next to the tube station. Whilst this is an amateur sport, at this level they treat it professionally. They'll be training 5 times a week, getting out, throwing in between, and it's almost like having a second full-time job. Especially when you're playing for like 2 teams, so the club team and the national team, it's a lot of dedication. It's a really competitive sport, it's multi-talented, so you've got a lot of individual skills, but you've also got team skills, and probably one of the most inclusive sports that I've ever played. From like grassroots right up to the elites, they all play with one another, they all train together, and they all try to bring each other through the systems.
With the Under-23 World Championships set to take place in St Albans this year, we caught up with Iceni's Kat Cheng as she looks forward to taking part in the tournament.
I think we're all really buzzing for it in terms of like it's a chance for us to showcase what we do, showcase what we love, and our friends and family can come and see it, and hopefully that will reflect on other people. They'll want to take up the sport, find out more about it, and the ultimate community in the UK will grow massively. We want a medal. We want a medal. We want a medal on our home turf to say, look, we are good at this sport and this is what we have to show for it. I mean, this year is going to be a huge highlight for me, representing huge national teams, but yeah, having a medal around my neck at the end of it would just be incredible. We have fun while we play. We are all committed and dedicated to not just our own fitness, but to the team development and supporting one another through that. And finally, we train hard. You know, we come to practice. We don't, we don't mess around. We actually are really focused. We're really driven, and we're all going after the same goal.
The girls have just finished their session, and they've kindly agreed to put on a few more drills so I can get involved. I'm taking my GoPro so you can see all the action from my perspective. Wish me luck. I'm not going to give up my day job. So I've been lucky enough to come down here to Clapham Common and get just a little insight into the world of ultimate frisbee and the team Iceni. I was even lucky enough to get involved. These girls train around 5 times a week, but after 20 minutes it's enough for me. I'm off to go and rest my feet.
Well, thanks very much for that, Will. It just goes to show that everyone can get involved with the game of ultimate frisbee. Well, as you can see here, I've come to a tennis court, another one of England's most played sports. And just around the corner is the All England Tennis Club, home to one of South West London's biggest sporting venues. But we're going to talk about the niche sports in South West London. And now Aaron Fowler is going to take us through some blind tennis.
Today I've come down to the National Tennis Centre in Roehampton to learn about blind tennis. We'll be speaking to some of the organisers, Adette and Roy from Metro Blind Sport, and also having a go ourselves. I hope you enjoy. The game is played by visually impaired athletes who are given a sight classification ranging from B1 to B4 depending on their level of vision. B1s are totally blind or may have some light and dark perception, B2s have very limited vision, B3s have some vision, and B4s are the players with the most sight.
Blind tennis are mainly the same as the regular tennis, just a few differences. We play with different balls, so it's a sound ball for sound. And for those who can't see at all, the B1 players, they're allowed 3 bounces. So a little bit like wheelchair tennis, where you're allowed extra bounces. And then if you see a little bit, so you're a B2 or B3 player, you're allowed 3 bounces if you're B2, and then 3 if you're B3, and the B4s have to go with only 1 bounce. I mean, we're very lucky that the National Tennis Centre is supporting our club and supporting us to play blind tennis by letting us use this fantastic premises and these courts. And we've been using these courts also to do our tournaments, yearly tournaments.
Use full-size courts, so it's again keeping to the rules. Then we started looking at the courts and what sizes we could use. And there is recognised sizes called red courts and orange courts. So we use red courts for totally blind and orange courts for partially sighted.
Our producer Dan played the game wearing goggles to simulate the level of vision of a B3. Here's what he had to say about his experiences playing blind tennis.
It was definitely a challenge playing with those goggles. I'm not the best tennis player the best of days, so with those limitations it was even more difficult. It's kind of counterintuitive because you think, you know, stepping into it, taking the 1 bounce, but you get 2 bounces and you're supposed to step back, get very low down and have the shot. So yeah, definitely a challenging experience.
That doesn't require a lot of equipment. You just need a ball, a racket and somebody else. And in a way you can just phone a friend and go and play, or you can also play with your family.
So that was blind tennis, and I hope you enjoyed. As you can see, it's a very tough sport and it's a game that's continuing to grow. Hopefully one day we'll see blind tennis in the Paralympics.
Well, thanks very much for that, Aaron, and I'm with you. I'm really hoping that makes the Paralympics very soon indeed. And as Dan showed, it's definitely not as easy as it looks. Well, from blind tennis, we're moving on to handball, a sport that's very popular in France, but not so popular here in the southwest London area. And to tell us more is Gabrielle Rowley.
We're here at Ealing Hammersmith and West London College, the home of the Fulham Hawks Handball Club, to see how they've been growing since opening in 2012. We spoke with Richard Powers, the founder of Fulham Hawks, to ask him why he got involved in handball and why it's so close to his heart.
I got into this side of sport due to working as with the Metropolitan Police as a Borough Youth Engagement Officer. I was using sport as a tool to try and get kids off the streets. Boxing was my first project, and then I slowly grew into handball. We have all types of nationalities that come through the door. I could probably say about 15 nationalities, which is quite amazing. Since 2012 Olympics, having seen no handball clubs really, apart from probably 3 or 4 established in London, so probably having about 10 to 12 now established, there is growth now, and it's great.
Well, I think after the Olympics, the government is trying to push the sport to be more popular, and I think it's working because this club starts a couple of years ago. We were very few people playing handball, and now we are like 30, I think.
I think we're doing very well and quite fast development with this particular club. It's a great setup, and we're looking for collaboration and development, more handball in this area. Yeah.
I guess I first got interested in handball when I was just basically flicking through channels. Then went to see a few games at the Olympics and started trying to find a club. I don't think we're the only new club to have started up. I think there are some in around Kingston, maybe one in Wimbledon.
A couple of years ago, I moved to London. I just found this club, so we started playing and enjoying handball all together. It's a point of socialising as well, so it's not just the sport, so we do things together, and it's a bit more like a family. For me, handball is like part of my life, and it's a big family for me.
at the moment we're in early stages. We've done very well in our first league competition this year. As you can see, it's expanding. I said we've got players. Every day there's an inquiry, almost every day, from a player that wants to play or just interested in the handball. Down the line, it'd be great to be in the Super 8s, you know, but maybe that could be 5 years, 10 years down the line. I said it's all about the commitment of players and obviously capacity.
One of our reporters, Almel Tangai, had a going goal, but it's harder than it looks. Even I could score against him. The Fulham Hawks train on Wednesday evenings and Saturday mornings. If you're interested in getting involved, visit their website at fulhamhawkshandball.co.uk or give them a like on Facebook or Twitter.
Great stuff, Gabrielle, and very good finish, by the way. Well, I've come here now to a cricket green, a very popular English summer sport, but what we're actually going to talk about now is the art of dodgeball. Tom Curran, tell us more.
Now, if you're anything like me, when you hear the word dodgeball, you think of the Vince Vaughn, Ben Stiller comedy from 10 years ago. Turns out, some people think it's an actual sport, so we've come down here to Clapham to find out if there's more to it than dodging, ducking, dipping, diving and dodging.
I played for the first time at university. Everyone's seen the film. I don't know one person alive who plays dodgeball without seeing the film, so I think everyone's inspired by the movie and wants to replicate it. I'm a little bit disappointed that there's no like Lobo gyms in the league or Average Joes, but there you go. I've been wanting to have a dodgeball team for a few years since I moved to London. This is our third game. A few teams have had a few seasons, so most of us are like beginners really. So we're still like sort of learning how to play, but it's good fun. Before I started a few weeks ago, I thought it was last man standing, as you said. But I think they, because they've got teams playing all the time, they do like, I think it's 3 minutes a game, and then whoever's got the most people on the court will win that game. But then there's like 5 games a set, and then there's 3 sets. So it's crazy, like I play football every week. I don't look like this afterwards, you know, it sort of works you pretty hard. Dodgeball, there's a big adrenaline rush you get if you're the last man standing and you're against everybody else. That never happens in football. It would be the equivalent of having like most of your team sent off and you somehow winning the game. So that's kind of part of the fun of it, I think, really. And as I said, I think if you take it too seriously, it sort of loses its charm a little bit.
Dodgeball actually originated about 200 years ago in Africa, but back then it was a tribal sport played to the death with rocks. Fortunately, it's now evolved into a far more sociable game that we can all enjoy.
Thanks very much for that, Tom. So that there was dodgeball, and don't you dare forget those 5 Ds. Well, we've almost come up to the end of the show here, but first, Jack Austin is going to try his hand at some hurling. Good luck, Jack.
I'm here in Garrett Green in Earlsfield to learn about the ancient Irish art of hurling, one of the fastest field sports in the world. And I'll learn about a few of the basic skills before hopefully getting involved a bit later on. Wish me luck.
Fulham Irish GAA Club was set up in 2008. Initially it was formed as a Gaelic football club, but later expanded to hurling due to high demand. It is now a key part of the Irish community in South West London.
There's a big social network with Fulham Irish. Like there's about 600 people on an internal email. So like if we know any companies that are looking for people, we'll circulate the job, like, and then people can say it. Same for accommodation. If people know of a room going, it'll go out in the email.
Now it's time for Mick to show me some of the basics.
It's the boss of the hurl. This is the end we hold. You always hold the hurl with your writing hand, basically. When you're going to strike the ball, throw the ball up, position your hand there. You want to strike it long. Some lads like to shorten the grip, so you slide your hand up the hurl, you throw the ball up, you slide your hand up the hurl, and you shorten the grip to there. Basic skills are striking, catching, soloing, and blocking. Batting the ball is also a skill. Soloing the ball is basically, you can take 4 steps once you catch the ball in your hand. After that, you either have to hop it off the hurley or solo it. And then after that, you cannot catch it 3 times.
So Mick showed me the basics. I'm all geared up, ready to go. Let's give it a go. This isn't as easy as it looks.
But gradually I started to get the hang of it.
I've honed in my skills, now it's time to go put it into practice. Let's do this! So the boys are coming down behind me, but this is just a training session. Let's go have a look at what a real pitch looks like. These are your standard hurling posts, a little bit smaller than your standard rugby posts. If you score past me here, it's worth 3 points. If you score past me here, it's worth 1 point.
As you can see, hurling is a physically brutal sport where nobody's safe. Not even the cameraman.
So, that was hurling. I hope it didn't scare you off too much. Anyway, I'm off to ice my bruises.
Nice try, Jack. Maybe hurling's just not the sport for you. Well, unfortunately we've come to the end of our show here. All our presenters have really enjoyed the sports that they've done. I hope you have too. It just goes to show there's more than one beautiful game to be played here in South West London.